Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, uh, Welcome to COE's weekend pro bono session. In this session, Pratik would be sharing his experience from his diversified co- experiences and the technical skills from as being a financial data analyst and a research analyst and tech ops. So he had worked in such a wide, diverse fields such as the analysis and as a web developer also, but still he gained the technical skills and cracked the interviews as an analyst. And let us take a moment and appreciate the efforts he has taken for us to share his experience and the challenges which he has faced. And he would be also sharing how he had cracked the multiple interviews while he was learning and what are the key skills or key points which helped him in cracking the interviews. Over to you, Pratik.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Likewise, let me share my screen and we can start with the PPT itself, which I prepared exclusively for all you guys. Is my screen
Yeah,
visible?
hi Pratik, good morning. Have a nice day.
Good morning. Likewise, is my PPT visible?
Yes, brother, please.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
let's start. As a research analyst, agenda will be like introduction, overview of my professional experience, interview, challenges faced, working in a new role, any support and resources that I may be able to share. Let's then will be open for Q&A. So likewise, I'm a working professional. I've been working over from almost 5 years. I've done my BTech in electronics and communication. Thereafter, I joined ICICI Prudential as an insurance analyst. I worked there for almost 3 years over there. Thereafter, I transitioned my job from a non-tech to a more technical side. Therefore, I joined this internship as a full stack web developer. Now, let's talk simultaneously regarding my job responsibilities also. So, likewise, in ICICI Prudential, I was in a bank patch channel where I've been directly interacting with the customers, with the banking professionals, trying to advise them for various sort of banking products such as insurance and FDs and so. So, likewise, that more of a customer-centric role. Thereafter, I joined Capsitech as a full stack web developer. There, I was working mostly on designing web pages in HTML, CSS. Thereafter, on a later, I've also worked in web APIs, Visual Studio software as well. So, likewise, I've worked over there. Thereafter, I transitioned myself into a SQL developer role, wherein while during this work in my Capsitech, I have more keen interest into the handling database itself because I've also worked as a in MongoDB over there. So likewise, I've developed keen interest into database. So from there, I developed a thought of transitioning myself into a SQL developer in Anurati. Here, I've extensively worked on SQL and Visual C# APIs, and so here my domain was dealing with equity sort of portfolios, equity FNO, commodity currency portfolios, wherein I was responsible of correctness of data and ensuring data cleaning and so. So we were assigned that sort of databases and so where I was handling whether the data is corrected and are this data correctly reflecting to the web pages as well. I've been also working on the anandakshi.com website over here, where I was assigned various sorts of tickets. For example, uh, developing sort of changes in Anandati website. For instance, mostly the changes were in HTML and CSS, wherein also we have developed the utility of OTP based utility, wherein we fetch data directly from the customer and client, and then we used to send to the other teams for further analysis purpose. Thereafter, I joined RTV Tech as a senior tech ops. Herein also, I've been working mostly with the equity portfolios. Uh, um, Equity portfolios and in the back office solution. So here in the Ananati, you can say that I worked in the front office, wherein in RTV Tech I have worked as a back office engineer. So I worked over there. Recently, I've joined Crystal as a research analyst. So likewise, my work over here is dealing with mutual fund portfolios, wherein that mutual fund portfolios are being designed as per the customer or company's needs. For example, some customer needs their portfolio design basically mostly on the equity base. For example, they need high sort of returns. So we have developed backend solutions, backend coding as in well. So like which companies satisfy those sort of customer needs, therein those shares are being automatically assigned, and we are also restructuring those portfolios as in well. So it's to maximize the returns of this. That is one aspect of this role. Another aspect is we have a historical amount of data um, which are being stored, which are being maintained by us. So we do sort of back testing, and so back testing you can say. um, for example, I've designed a new strategy. So I would like to test how would have been performed in the past and how much more returns it could have been performed. It could have been gained upon. So likewise, we compare this new strategy with the historical data, and so this is another aspect of this research analyst, mostly dealing into mutual fund. Now, this is the experience part. Let's talk about the technical part. So, skills that I possess with mostly SQL, MATLAB, Python, Git, and Jira. Functional domain wise, I've mostly worked into the financial analysis and the BFSI part. Any given point of time, if you need like to know anything more regarding this session, you can interrupt me and let me know.
First of all, thank you, Pratik, for taking this time to prepare a PPT and to have all the information clubbed up together. And this is a nice thing. So also, would it be possible for you to take a moment and share your LinkedIn profile on the screen itself so that the audience, if they would be interested, they could connect with you on LinkedIn as well?
Okay. So likewise, here is my LinkedIn profile. Um, I'll be sharing again this profile link in the last. So likewise, as in whatever experiences that I have shared, I've depicted here in my LinkedIn. Uh, Likewise, this is the experiences that I've been talking about. One thing that I haven't mentioned in my profile is the licenses and certifications part, because this is mostly used for the learning purposes. Later on, whenever you get time, you can go through this, that what all certifications that I have done. This certifications, you cannot term this as certifications, you can term this as certificates. There's a vast difference between certificates and certifications. So these all you can term as certificates, which I've done mainly for the learning purpose. And this all has helped me in cracking interviews and discussing, yes, mostly into cracking interviews. So this is all regarding my LinkedIn profile. I'll share you again the link of my profile in the last. I'll be glad to connect and help you, all you guys, or learn or from all you guys as in where possible.
Pratik, my question would be like, you have experience in diverse fields such as like tech ops and full stack web developer, etc. So, what is the particular position which you are really interested in, like as an analyst, or as a tech developer, or as a web developer, or tech ops? In which profile you are more interested in?
Where, as in, you can say that I'm more into the data kind of guy, data geek, you can say. But vast kind of experiences help me to like gain it as sort of like ad hoc tasks, because there are some sort of tasks that are being assigned which are sometimes outside the current role, but that helps only to growth purpose. But yes, talking specifically about me, so I'm a data kind of guy. I love to work on crunch data, mostly as a SQL developer or a database developer.
Right. Got you.
Yes, yes,
Okay, yes, we can move forward.
yes. So likewise, skills have been done. Now I have already communicated while the overview of my experiences, as in where we gone. About Crisil. Crisil is a rating agency. You might have known Crisil about wherein we are rating mutual funds like a double A, triple A rated based on the portfolios and the performance. How good are those mutual funds, or how reliable are those mutual funds? So we started as a basically a credit rating agency. Um, so this is more about the Crystal. Now, how do I get to know about this? So, where I was looking for a switch into a new job role. So, likewise, I had some sort of reference which let me informed about this opening. And from the LinkedIn itself, I had applied, and so likewise, I had applied this interview experiences. So, likewise, there were 4 rounds of interview that I've gone through this. Two side. Uh, as in this is mostly into the service space. So likewise, two sort of rounds were from the crystal side, and two sort of rounds were from the client side. So likewise, I can't explain you much more details about my client side because it is some sort of like compliance related. But yes, I can give you an overview ki, how those interview experiences went. Mostly, this interview experiences tested my domain knowledge and the domain functional knowledge, as well as my technical knowledge. No, so from the past experiences, when I worked with the equity and when I worked into the BFSI sector, so as in where when I was more keen about the working at that point of time, so that helped me explain all those concepts that is required. Mostly, also in the interview experiences, I've gone through the job description of this role pasted onto the LinkedIn, and I thoroughly studied about each and every line. So that helped me that what kind of questions they might have asked about the regarding this job position. Also, like I've gone through some sort of new financial concepts, balance sheets, and also so that also truly helped me some sort of gaining some financial concepts as well. So after going through all these 4 rounds, the final golden opportunity came. I was presented with the offer letter, and then and there I joined as a research analyst. In my recent experiences, it's been almost like 3 months I've joined over here. So likewise, I do recent rigorously connect with the client. So likewise, currently we are working on machine learning, and so machine learning historical data, and we are calculating how correct that data is based on the predictions, and so for the machine learning predicted data and the actual data. So developing all sorts of correlation to that's based out of statistics part. So this is the recent experience. Like January is the month we'll be starting, so there's much more to learn, and so this is what I've experienced as of now. Now, key learnings and takeaways. Now, MATLAB might be new for most of the audience because MATLAB is extensively used mainly for the image processing and part. But MATLAB is also used for the machine learning and mostly used into depicting all those kinds of data onto the dashboarding as well. So, like we do financial analysis mostly in MATLAB and SQL. Spanish domain, as I've already said, I gained it using the experience from my past experiences. Now, for you guys, mostly that resume preparation is already being rigorously done in the COE itself. So, I would like to thank to the COE guys, to all those guys, including Sanjay Chandra, Prem Sai, Akriti, and Arun sir. So their ATS compliant resume truly helped me in cracking the interview or cracking the first slot for the interview itself. Now, once the ATS compliant resume has been done, but it is also of the important that what keywords we mention. We have done so much kind of vast work, but what is exactly relevant to the job role? So that keywords we need to mention that you can get from the job description itself. Now, from the interview preparation that I've already shared, I mostly the job description helped me a lot. I've gone through the bank sheets and the balance sheets as on so in the balance sheets from the all those 60 pages, I've gone through some sort of concepts that helped me in cracking the interview as well. And for the interview preparation, if you can get in touch with any sort of professional who is currently working in the current job role, as in you are working applying over there, so that will be very much helpful. Likewise, so likewise, this were all the things that I needed to share. I'm open for any sort of questions. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Hi Pratik, this is Arun here.
Good morning, sir, Arun sir.
Yeah, Pratik, I must say that my mother is going through a severe health condition, and for which I have traveled to New Delhi, and I have limited time and keeping pretty busy with the hospitals and all. However, when you joined in, I thought I had some time and I could attend. So I will ask the first question, Pratik. Pratik, one of the things that I've been very impressed by is not only, and you're a qualified candidate with a little bit of experience, but I was very happy the way you worked with the COE and the way you went about your resume enhancement, the way you prepared for the interviews. It has been an example for many people. The one thing that I remember you by "Ye Dil Mange More." So, can you tell in Hindi or English, because we have a large Hindi speaking audience as well? Can you tell me what does "Ye Dil Mange More" mean to the preparation in interviews?
ये दिल मांगे वो मतलब
Yeah, smile so that everybody else can smile too. So guys, I will explain this, and then Pratik can add his comments. So whenever me and Pratik used to discuss, interview questions, and he was focusing on SQL, he was focusing on the domain knowledge, like he has already pointed out. He was also doing a lot of questions on MATLAB because that was a requirement of the particular profile that he was interested in. So we discussed some questions, and he said, "Hey, this is what I've done, but I need more questions." So I sent him few more questions, and he said, "Sir, isse maza nahi aaya. Ye dil mange more." So always he had the ability to ask for more and more questions, and Akriti, myself, Prem, we have shared, opinions, advisory notes, or questions, or just comments on experiences of other people with various candidates. But Pratik stood out from everybody else in the sense that whenever he got questions, some people just look at questions, हाँ भाई हो जाएगा कर लेंगे, that kind of attitude. Okay, fine, and those people. But Pratik was the only one of the very few, I would say, uh, who actually took those questions and actually read each and every single word, single line, and he kept on saying, if he had one more day for the interview preparation, he would not say, "Sir, बहुत हो गया अभी मैंने तीन चार questions पढ़ लिए, इससे it is enough." He went on and on and kept on saying, "Sir, ये दिल मांगे more." That meant कि मुझे खत्म नहीं हुआ. This is my dream job, he would say, and I want to prepare the very best that I can. So he left no stone unturned, and he prepared very extremely well. मतलब अगर उसको 50 क्वेश्चन दिए, if we give him 50 questions, 100 questions, I think Pratik, you and I almost shared like 50 to 100 questions or more than something like that. But you took each of the questions seriously and you kept on practicing. So this was a very important concept. So don't think that Pratik got his job. उसने एक इंटरव्यू दे दिया, उसने उसका रिज्यूमे ठीक था और keywords डाल दिए और job मिल गया. It was not all that easy either, because This is a job. It's a pretty it's a very well known multinational. It is a very prestigious job, and the one thing ye dil mange more means he practiced hard with all the questions given to him. If he did not understand anything, he would come back and ask, okay, here's what I don't understand. And suppose he would not get, let's say he did not get anybody on the call, he would practice with notes. He had his own notes, he had things in his own writing, and he kept on practicing them. Pratik, aap add kariye whatever you want to add as a, in a casual way.
तो लाइकवाइज अरुण सर
आपने
ने एकदम सही.
आपने कैसे तैयारी किया, मतलब बिकॉज आपके पास क्वेश्चंस थे, यू हैड योर ओन, तो आपने अपनी तरफ से जब आपको क्वेश्चंस मिलता था तो उसके साथ आप क्या करते थे? हाउ डिड यू वर्क विद इट?
एक्चुअली मतलब क्वेश्चन ये भी था कि क्वेश्चंस भी नहीं थे मेरे पास में, तो
राइट,
मुझे ग्राउंड वर्क से प्रिपेयर करना पड़ा कि व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस की मैं एक्सेप्ट कर सकता हूँ वहां से. अरुण
राइट,
सर के साथ अरुण सर के साथ में 50 to 100 क्वेश्चन थे. मैंने उसके अलावा और भी क्वेश्चंस डेवलप किए जो मतलब मैंने बैलेंस शीट्स उसमें एनालिसिस किया, सो एंड सो फोर्थ. अब आपके पास में जैसे क्वेश्चंस मिल गए, अब उनके आंसर्स भी ढूंढने हैं. तो अपन ने
राइट,
आंसर्स भी ढूंढ लिए, लेकिन अब इंटरव्यू में आप इतने सारे जंक जंक बोल सकते हैं, इतने सारे इंफॉर्मेशन आप कैसे प्रिपेयर करोगे? तो
राइट.
उन
हाउ डू यू
बेस.
प्रिपेयर एंड हाउ डू यू प्रेजेंट आल्सो, वो भी आपने किया. How do you
यस.
present to the client? So one thing, Pratik, you said was it was very, very extremely important that we try to tell everybody. When people look at the job profile or the job description, what you did differently from everybody else was, because people look at the job profile and ठीक है, हाँ, तीन चार बातें इसमें हमें आती हैं, we know about 3 4 things and we're done. But you took the effort, extra effort, to look at the job description line by line. For example, अगर उसमें लिखा था proficiency with XYZ, तो आप XYZ को underline करते थे, highlight करते थे, and you thought I should know each and every word that is mentioned in the job description, and I should understand it, and I should be able to speak intelligently about it. So that was something very unique that you did, which is basically everybody in the past that has done the preparation this way has been successful regardless of the profile. जैसे आपका प्रोफाइल एसक्यूएल मैटलैब वगैरह वगैरह था, डोमेन आपका अलग था, but whether you are data engineer, data scientist, data analyst, financial analyst, developer, whatever is your profile, people who do this kind of way, they always are successful. That's a given. And even if let's say you don't crack an interview the first time, the second time around when you give it for some other company, you are much more confident. So Pratik, kudos to you, your effort. मतलब हम लोगों ने जो किया वो किया, that's a separate thing, but your own effort and your dedication was exemplary, and that is what I want to make everybody aware. It takes dedication, it takes hard work, so everybody that does that be successful. So, guys, I want people that are present. I'm sorry that some people are enjoying on a Sunday. It's cold in Delhi, so it must be cold most places in India, except Pune, I guess. So, um, so guys, ask questions because this is the time where you can ask. For example, if I don't know what is MATLAB, right? I would ask a question. ये MATLAB क्या होता है? या फिर if I'm not aware of what kind of SQL questions, so we may not discuss every single question, but we may discuss based upon the profile in his profile. What are the typical topics जहाँ से ज़्यादा question आए थे? So, for example, was it window function? Was it, index? What was it? Formulas? Those kind of questions everybody should ask. So, I would want people to ask questions. So, Ravikant, Satendra, uh, I'm not sure if Akriti is there. So, I want you to ask intelligent questions because when the recording goes out to many, many people, Pratik is a profile. Pratik is somebody who can really inspire people, and he was so dedicated. He was so willing to help everybody. Even now, he says, although I've been 3 months in my job, but somebody is preparing for a financial analyst or a data analyst, I am willing to help, and that spirit of volunteering is something that I value a lot. So I'm looking for people to ask questions, including Prem.
Hello, Pratik. First of all, congratulations on your great success. Like, I just want to know that what are the level of questions for the profile? As you told, there are 4 rounds of interviews. So, can you please just suggest what are the level of the questions that was
Yeah,
just being asked?
yeah,
Please.
that's a great question because Pratik, I think what he's also wanting to know is कि जो 4 rounds of questioning था, so was were the first 2 rounds focused on technical, something was management. What are the types of interviews you had to go through? And the एरियाज कि कहाँ से वो एक तो डोमेन क्वेश्चंस हो गया, टेक्निकल हो गया थोड़ा बहुत, तो कहाँ कहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आए, दैट इज वैल्यूएबल आई गेस.
Like, let me deep dive into the interview experience as well. Like my first round mostly was including technical and functional knowledge as well. Because initially they needed to check whether the domain that we are working in is being correctly analyzed, or how deep dive knowledge does the candidate has. So there were 4 panelists over there. One was a technical person, the others were more of functional domain experts. So they checked me upon, like in the technical, you can say, what is the function structure, and so they were like pretty much basic to intermediate level of questions, because at that point of time they were not expecting to be an expert in MATLAB and so, but they needed that sort of candidate who has an experience in MATLAB and mostly into the functional domain as well. So that was the first kind of interview. They asked me some pretty much intermediate level of questions in MATLAB and technical, because mostly this role is specific to MATLAB itself only. And SQL, and also they asked, but that wasn't their primary concern. But as I had past experience in SQL, so I had pretty much answered those. So SQL, they were mostly into the CRUD operations as well, not deep diving into window functions and all. Mm, and yes, so this is the first part. Second uh, part of the interview was being taken by the director. So he asked me about my analytical thinking. He analyzed my analytical thinking, asked me about guesstimates and so, uh, and asked me that behavioral sort of questions, you can say. How long do you we want long we also we want sorts of candidates who can longly stick to this role, because we want a stable employee, and so my recent transition, my past experiences, so that was sort of behavioral. So this was the interviews from the client side, sorry, from the company side. Now moving on to the client side, they took interview mostly into the actual working, like into the MATLAB and so. So they have asked me some sort of MATLAB questions as well, basic questions, you can say, and mostly they explained me about the work, that what kind of work they do, and so that sort of interview was being done. Last interview was also being done by the client side. They had analyzed me my further learning process, because that was not part of the core role learning platform. For example, you can say learning R or Python, which is beyond the job description, but how quickly I'm able to learn those new technologies and implement them. So they were analyzing about my grasp learning and so, because my MATLAB analysis were already done in the previous interviews. So that sort of 4 interviews had been done. Last but not the least, HR discussion round. So that was mostly into the remuneration part. Nothing more involved into that. So
Thank you
I
for Yeah.
I hope, Satyendra, that I have answered. If not, you can let me know again.
Yes, Pratik, very much. And like one more question for the same, like on the same line, like what all things, like in terms of technicals, you can say that uh, MATLAB and or SQL, what all things that you have gone, like what are the topic from basic to intermediate? What are the things any, you can say that fresher, any person who just been going for a financial analyst or a research analyst interview, what sort of things do you suggest that he should go in terms to create or to understand it from the scratch, so that he just been able to at least attend or grab all things toward these, like to all like Python and SQL and that Matplotlib, please.
In MATLAB, I would suggest learn from the W3 schools, as I've also been gone through. Uh,
Mhm.
and I would suggest like practically implementing those examples
Okay.
into the MATLAB itself, like developing functions and
Yes.
recalling those functions as well. Also, like plotting the output of it using the MATLAB functions as well. So
Mhm.
likewise, basically, you developing more and more functions because MATLAB is morely utilized into the functions as well. That's what I am dealing with in my current job role. Developing as and when more and more functions, so that will help in the understanding. Whereas in the SQL part, that is also I would suggest W3, but not limited to W3 because it's sorts of expensive the basic part, but also I've been gone through that. You have seen my certificates. I've gone through Coursera, Data Camp, and so if possible, if time aligns, that is also helpful for practically working on the large data sets because W3 that I've analyzed is working on is sort of like single line or so. But
Mhm.
when practically you are coming to working in SQL, so we are dealing with huge sort of data sets. So likewise, CodeMix is also a good platform, and all those webinars that are being conducted by COE. So that is also pretty much helpful. Vital sir posts are definitely helpful because
Definitely.
from those posts you can practically learn how practically what do we say SQL is being implemented because only that sort of questions are being directly asked in the interview. That is sort of like tricky questions and so Vishal sir
Okay.
questions would definitely help.
So,
Thank you so much.
so Prateek, now that you have worked for 3 months, uh, what are the top one or two things that you like about the organization you're in? Because I understand that you had to move to a different location, and now you're settling there, and you initially stayed in a location given by them. So, what are the top one or two things you like about the organization?
First of all, the organization is specifically focused onto the work itself. It's
Mhm.
not that in like you have to work for fixed hour or so.
Mhm.
They just assign the task and they need the job done. So likewise, there's a sort of flexibility that I'm currently enjoying. And there's also like various sort of like learning platforms that are being offered. So likewise, this is the limited experience that I've shared. There is much more regarding that, but
Right.
definitely that I've experienced in the 3 months. So these were these.
Gotcha. So, Pratik, when you see yourself as, let's say 2 or 3 years down the line, I'm talking short term. So, in short term, what are your goals?
Short term on my role,
Yes,
I
short
definitely
term short term on the career side, because when anybody joins any organization in any role, initial period तो होता है 6 महीने से लेकर 1 साल तक, between 6 years, sorry, 6 months and 1 year. The focus is on learning, soaking in as much information as you can. So you soak in information, you build relationships, you learn about the culture of the organization, all those kind of things you do. You make for yourself a 30, 60, 90 day plan. अपना एक plan बनता है, and then organization has their own, you know, something that they want you to focus on. They will tell you those objectives and goals. बट आगे जाकर ऐसा होता है ना, अपने मन में एक होता है, इन आवर ओन माइंड देयर समथिंग कि यहाँ यहाँ मैं इतना सीख लूँगा, पहले 2-3 साल में मेरा ये आइडिया है कि मैं ऐसे बनूंगा, ये करूँगा. तो व्हाट आर द गोल्स दैट यू हैव फॉर द नेक्स्ट कपल ईयर्स?
Next couple of years that I'm aiming for is definitely the promotion from my research analyst to senior research analyst.
राइट.
And for that, key not limited to the job role. The way that I'm planning to function is like not limited to completing the task. कि ठीक है, client has given me the task, this is being completed. But also like deep diving into those tasks. Can this be task done in some sort of like optimized way? Means like deep diving into it, brainstorming yourself, looking
Right.
for ideas
Right.
on the
So
online.
basically, can the task be done in different ways? Can the task be performed better? Learning cross-domain functions, not just your domain, but learning, what are my colleagues working on, and learning from the knowledge of the combined group. So I think you're focused on the right things, Pratik. I will say that based upon your profile, one of the things that struck me the most when we were interacting with you is you have great what is called as professional mannerisms. So you come across as a person who's not only keen on learning new things, not only a person that is hardworking, but also as somebody who builds good relationships, because good professional relationships, uh, they go a long way in your career development. So I think you have all those qualities, Pratik. Not just some people think that just giving question and answers in an interview and clearing an interview is the thing, and now I'll work like for 5 years, 10 years, I'll keep growing and getting promoted. That's not how it happens in real life, right? You have to work cross, you have to build relationships cross domain, not just in your domain, but cross domains. You have to build relationship with the clients as well. So I think you have all those qualities, and I wanted to especially speak about that. I wanted this to go in a recording because I've personally noticed all those qualities between our interactions with Akriti and Prem Sai and everybody. So I mean, I wish you know, you will go to the top of the game very soon. Does anybody else have any questions, guys?
Uh, yes, sir, I do.
Please go ahead, Prem.
Okay, Pratik, as we are talking about your current role, so could you just brief me about the top three responsibilities of your current role as a research analyst and also a financial analyst? Like, is there any difference between the responsibilities, or do they share any common responsibilities as two different roles? And what are the top three technical skills which would be helpful in for any aspirant to get a role as a financial analyst or a research analyst?
Yes, likewise, Crisil is mostly concentrated onto the finance part itself, and that's what also included in my job role itself. Mostly that I have been working in like a crunching numbers and working on statistics. Like we have developed this sort of um, backend solution wherein we are predicting that what might be the stock prices or so. So how well that backend solution is working, wherein we are comparing with the actual data. So likewise, this is the current task that I'm working on, and the most top three skills that I'm currently focused on. This job role currently focused on is MATLAB SQL, and later on you can say Python and like developing dashboards or in R language as well. So, likewise, you might have noticed that this is a very niche role that most job roles or work mostly into Python and itself. But this is a specific, so I might not be sure that this is applicable to everyone. But if talking about percentage, side, right now the MATLAB is mostly on the 70% side of my whole sort of task, and rest in where 30% you can say SQL, Python, and on so and so forth. That's the scenario. Does that answer your question, Prem?
Uh, yeah. Also, like I was interested in like more of a technical skills which are common for both the roles and that would be helpful for the beginner level role. Such as like, is it Excel or is it about the Python or the SQL for the analysis?
So mostly like financial analysis is done into the Excel itself. We also have a QA team over here whose main task is working onto the Excel itself. So yes, definitely financial work analysis in Excel will be a helping point. Yes, and for that, many sort of platforms are available like Udemy or a SUI platform, which may help you in financial analysis. Likewise, and technical skills, yes, Excel you can say, but I extensively work in SQL and MATLAB. So likewise, that's the scenario. In Excel, yes, you need to know advanced sort of Excel, not like just doing some sort of concatenation also, but
Such as
doing
VB and
that
macros.
extent. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. So VBA macros, VLOOKUP, and
that answers my
mo-
question.
yes, and mostly like working onto the statistics part because statistics is much more important. Without that, which you can't proceed in the finance. So
Absolutely, that
yes,
is
likewise.
compulsory, mandatory field.
So also
I will.
specific.
Yeah, I'll ask you a fun question, Pratik. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, in any organization, whenever a beginner joins, this used to be a popular interview question in the past. They were asked, "What do you like to focus more on? Is it learning? Is it salary? Is it the environment?" So, what are the top three things you look for in any professional environment when you join your first or second job? तो हर एक का आंसर डिफरेंट होता है एवरीबडी हैज अ डिफरेंट thing that is more valuable to them. So at this stage of your life, and हर एक if you ask these questions to different levels of people, their answer is different. So at this stage of your life, what is your answer? What is most important to you at this point of time?
I like this answer to be simple and one line.
Right.
Helping companies while helping to grow myself also, because this should be a win-win situation for both, for companies as well as mine. Because if you are doing some sort of monotonous work each and every day, so your learning is stagnant. So like learning new methodologies, functions each and every day, because each and every day counts up to a month, to a year, and thereafter promotions and all those sort of things come forward. So helping companies while helping to grow myself.
Gotcha.
That's
And
how.
I'll ask one more question because this question is usually asked in most interviews. So I'll take your help so that many others can learn. Typically, you are asked what are the top three qualities that you see in yourself, like, or they can ask it in a different way. What do you bring to the table? So when somebody asks you like that, how do you answer such a question? Would you give some sort of a tip for answering these kind of questions?
Yeah, yes, this is sort of question uh, yes, what I bring to the table is like first of all understanding my job responsibilities and uh, means that is being already understood prior to the interview. Like deep diving, like how much can I put into my work and enhancing it, not just like completing it and enhancing that sort of task and so.
Yeah, so,
Also, like
so basically you're saying that typically an answer can be around from this point that you just said, I gather that you're not just doing your job, you're taking complete accountability for your work, even if it means going above and beyond.
yes,
Got you. And
absolutely.
what was the second point?
Also, like developing the future aspects. For example, whatever that we are doing today, so like how would like develop in the future, how would that resonate with the client itself? Because I'm coming from the BFSI background, from the, so I do know, do can compare with the client's experiences with actual product that we are developing. So how would that this- that new product, that new functionality that we are developing, so will it be accepted by the client or not? How well it will be acceptable? So bringing that sort of experience also helped me in diverse thinking, just a single point, like out of the box thinking, you can say, not just doing the task, but yes, doing something different. So like the main concept of like is that client can rely on you. For example, they have given a task, so this you should be the best person who can do this task in the best efficient way.
Got you. So building trust, you're saying as a tip is building trust, building relationships is extremely important because that
Yes.
leads to satisfaction of the client. So even if I have noticed in personal life that even if sometimes we all make mistakes at or we all sometimes we may not find a solution of a particular thing in the first go, but if the client understands that you have a great spirit and you have a good relationship with them, they are willing to always work with you because they trust you. Trust is more important than trust is a very important factor in any job, regardless of the profile. Um, for example, when I was not around because my uh, you know I have a family situation which involves all my attention, 100% attention. We have Prem Sai, we have Akriti, we have a lot of COE members, especially the leads. The the work is getting done. It's being handled. The seminars are happening, the meetings are happening, so it did not come to a standstill. And this has happened only because the trust that I have in my leads, the trust that I have in the instructors, and the trust that I have in volunteers and people like yourself, Pratik. So it's great that all of us are, whenever we find time, we are trying to make time for other people to learn. So I truly would want through these kind of seminars that people come forward and they try to learn something out of it. Those people that take it casually uh, take a longer, much longer time to succeed, typically five or six times longer the time. But if they follow the advice, if they listen to people like yourself, if they listen to people like Prem, listen to people like Akriti, listen to the instructors, listen to their own colleagues, people that are our members, they will grow a lot. So I hope that the seminar will help them to in 2025 to become a better version of who they are. So thank you, Pratik, for doing this for us today, and thank you, Prem and Akriti, for organizing this. Thank you to the audience and people that are present, like Satendra, Ravi. Um, thank you, everyone. So, Pratik, we'll wrap this up, but like you said, we will once again, when we send out the recording, we'll send out your LinkedIn profile, and like you've said, if anybody's interested in learning more about, what is MATLAB or some questions or anything, Pratik is always available to you guys, but you need to set up time. You need to set up proper time. Just don't say, hey Pratik, while you're working in the office, I'm coming to asking questions to you. That's not how we do things. So always set up time with people, write them a short note and say, here is the topic on which I like, here are one or two questions on which I would like more some guidance. And whether it's people like Pratik or COE members, everybody will be willing to help you. So thanks a lot, Pratik, and over to Prem for wrapping it up.
Likewise, I would like to add something. So thank you so much, Arun, sir, and Prem Sai and Akriti for giving me this opportunity to present myself. And last but not the least, कि there are various informations out there. Distractions तो चलो ठीक है, वो तो अलग है. But regarding information also, you need to be like specific. What exactly do you need? I've seen in groups like they are sending some sort of resumes. कि ठीक है ये resume है या लगा दो वहाँ लगा दो. We also, if we like to refer, we also need exact the reason that why are you the most eligible person for this job role. So whenever you are asking for referrals also, be specific and be specific to the job description. Stick to the job description. That's all I'd like to add. Thank you so much for having your time. Thank you
That's
so
a,
much.
that's a very good note, Pratik, because one should understand what questions to ask, whom to ask them, what time you choose to ask them, and the language you choose to ask them questions, and also what type of questions. I mean, you can't just write three paragraphs and the somebody like Pratik or somebody like Prem has to look through what is he really asking, because sometimes we get a lot of questions and we are not clear as to what are the top three concerns of a person. So if I were to write to Prem and say, "Hey Prem, I need guidance on this topic," or if I have to write to Akriti, I will write down the questions and say, "Can you help guide on these particular topics?" Or I want to set a half an hour meeting with you. When would you be more comfortable? Would it be Monday or a Wednesday, or would you be more comfortable on weekends? And then I would choose a time that's practical when they can, and not write everything as urgent. Urgency, because we don't work for a trauma center or a hospital where everything is urgent. We have to be kind to people and prepare ahead in time. uh, Write down the questions, then send to people and say, can we discuss in the next couple days, like that. Unless it is really urgent, unless you have an interview coming like this evening and you want to have a quick brush up, then we make ourselves available, or we can point to somebody. For example, right now I'm truly not available because I'm really tired with my mother who has cancer. um, but then I can say, hey, so and so, I'm really tired with an urgent family matter, but Prem can help you, or Akriti can help you, or Ashok can help you, or Rashika can help you, or Vishal can. So somebody will be there to help you if you let us know in ahead of time. So Pratik, those are very good important points. Prem,
Yep. Okay. Before wrapping up, do we have any questions from the audience as well?
No, sir.
Satyendra?
Prem, I really liked how Pratik presented it. He had a
Yeah.
basic PowerPoint in which he could write about his skills, and he presented his LinkedIn ID and he had his introduction. I love this idea how Pratik did it.
Yeah. Pratik, could you also share, like, if you did not have, like, if you have not filled any personal details in that slide, so could you just share the slide to me or Akriti just for a reference, so that for the further sessions also we would be suggesting people to prepare a slide like that, so that it could be helpful for them to communicate, and also they might, it would also help them to improve their presentation skills as well.
Certainly, Prem, I'll share that. And
You can also, like, you can still add, like, done by Pratik or prepared by Pratik, just a tagline. It's fine. Like,
no
if you
worries,
wish
I'd
to
like to
see.
share and all, no sort of like taglines or so. If you want to use the same
Because,
presentation,
like,
you
we
are free to
like
do.
the way how you presented it, and how you took it some time to prepare that. So yeah, that's much appreciated.
Thank you once again.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you.
Yes, Satyendra, you are saying something?
By the way, Pratik will love to call you more number of times in future because ye dil mange more.
Yeah, you should be prepared to, for that one as well.
Absolutely. Also, one thing that I'd like to quote, I'm also the world's freshest fresher, as in Arun sir is also. So likewise, if I do not know some sort of things, I'll go online, search for them online, also get in touch with the professionals as well. So likewise, being the world's freshest fresher truly helps us in gaining kichike. Some things that I know, something that I do know, but I'll make them happen that I know that beforehand. Right.
Okay. So thank you, Pratik, for your wonderful experience sharing and also your words, which might help the audience and the aspirants.
Sure, sure. Okay. Thank you so much.